Hello. Well, something a little different on the workbench to feature this time, in the vein of radio related instead of TVs for a bit of a change. This is a chassis out of a radiogram which I've had for probably damn near 30 years. It's a Philips, of course, and this is a high-Z stereo model. As you can see from the dial glass, it pretty much explains everything in typical Philips style. So this is probably would have been probably one of their top shelf high-end models for the mid-1960s. It features 800 ohm output transformerless high impedance output stage, using 2 EL86s per channel and a couple of ECC83s. It's got a couple of EZ81 rectifiers there as well, a couple of EBC81s for the tone control section, ECH81 and EBF89, I think. Am I right? EBF89, yes, that's for the front end IF RF mixer and all that sort of thing. But this has been, well, the whole radiogram had been sitting in storage till quite recently, and that in less than ideal conditions. So I fired it up after quite a number of probably years of no operation, and it worked, but I had some issues which I will get to later on when I sort of talk about the circuit and show you underneath. But this would have been quite the expensive bit of a gear back in the day. Uses the typical Philips push button arrangement here, which, you know, these switches can give problems, but these ones appear to be okay so far, touch wood. Yes, and in true Philips style, it's got a lovely dial cord arrangement should it ever break. One might as well go and sit in the corner and rock, because it's all cable or wire operated. I suppose it's not too complex compared to some of them, but yeah, I made a point of actually oiling all that up, because the wire that was used was actually looking quite rusty. I thought, well, if that wants to break, it's going to break on me when I start to operate it again. So that was actually all quite stiff, wasn't moving very freely, but now it is moving nice and free. Yeah, we all know about dial cord arrangements with Philips and how we all love to hate them. Especially Don's old radio shed. He made a reference to it in one of his videos, and yeah, I had to have a bit of a chuckle. And yeah, I think he restrung a dial cord, and it nearly drove him insane. So yeah, I know what that's all about. But yeah, no, it's yeah, nice big easy chassis. You know, really nice to work on too as well. It's when you see underneath, it's got the valve layout chart there upside down. So, and 2-gang tuning capacitor as well. So probably the front end of this thing is probably nothing fancy, but it's got all the shortwave bands anyway. It's got 2 shortwave bands there anyway. So yeah. And there's all the station IDs for the time. 2YA Wellington, that's still 567. That's still in operation. But most of those other stations, like 1ZB, 3ZB, 2XM, and probably a lot of those are probably most of those are pretty much no longer exist. So. Yeah, I actually really like the color scheme too. It looks really nice, and when it's back in the cabinet too, it looks really nice as well. And of course, you've got the sort of visual curtain type Venetian blind vane indicators for the bass and treble controls. Unfortunately, this one is broken, and I am not about to get involved in trying to fix that. It's only a cosmetic thing. I don't want to disturb the glass. I just don't want to pull it off. So yeah, we'll just, that's one little thing that I will ignore. I said it's only my rate. It's only for me. It's not for a customer. So And yeah, the two speakers there, they are, those ones I think are out of black and white TVs. They're not 800 ohms, they're about 500-600 ohms when I measured with a meter, but they've served perfectly well for test purposes and so forth. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the circuit anyway. Yeah, so the output stage is single-leaded push-pull with a sort of cathode follower arrangement here. And of course no output transformer, of course. And the EC83s, we've got one half of the triode acting as a bit preamp, and the other half is using as basically for a phase inverter sort of arrangement. And looks like we've got a bit of negative feedback going back into the tone control. It's actually quite a complicated sort of setup, actually. It's sort of typical Philips, you know, they always had to sort of, not sure what's going on here, whether that light seems to be making it go a bit dim. So, but yeah, typical Philips style, they have to be unusual with their setup. So you've got the volume control down here, and you've got, I think it's bass and treble, and that's the balance control there. So, but yeah, a nice, easy to read circuit, nicely laid out. With component locations at the top there. So yeah, this is called the Westminster Hall, F8Z96A. Gives you your voltage table, all your readings and all the pins of your valves, which is nice and handy. And over here is the alignment of the receiver as well. Fairly straightforward. Yeah, product maintenance division, Philips Electrical Industry New Zealand Limited. So, and over the back we have the dial string arrangement, dial cord arrangement. So, doesn't look too bad compared to some, but it has to be a bloody Philips. Has got to be complicated, doesn't it? And all your trimmers and things for your oscillator and aerial trimmers and all that. And just set your IFs, 455 IFs on your IF cans as well. And it's got a ferrite rod antenna as well. So I'm a little bit congested at the moment, so voice is a wee bit croaky. Good old hay fever and other things. Yeah, so, but I did have a fault. I had a couple of faults actually with it. What was the first one? There was something funny in the power supply which I had to sort out. Oh, by the way, too, it's got the EF86X is a preamplifier for you've got a thing on the back for crystals for ceramic cartridge or moving magnet, and that basically acts as a gain stage or preamp basically for whatever cartridge you're using at the time. There we go. Either a magnetic to dynamic position. So you obviously acts as basically as preamp, a bit of a preamp or gain stage for that. Oh, that's right. Yes, I had there was a dual section 22 microfarad cap. This one here was getting, when I had it running, that cap was getting quite hot, so I've ended up putting a replacement underneath, a couple of extra electrodes under there. But no, I had a lot of I had some trouble with this area here. Sort of changes in sensitivity, volume levels, with a lot of popping, crackling, spitting, and sort of poking around here with a voltmeter and a scope. You could clearly see you could see the RF envelope basically on here changing, upsetting everything. This uses those Philips, those cylindrical sort of air dielectric capacitors, those cylindrical things, and those things have been known to give problems. But after after some detective work, ended up narrowing it to here. So this 100 picofarad cap inside the IF can was noisy. Basically, there was a lot of noise that was generating. And yeah, so I pulled the IF can out, which is this one here, and changed that cap, and it fixed the problem. because everything was okay up to here. It's sort of the problem got worse around there. Of course, I've made sure everything. You know, but yeah, I seem to around here whenever I sort of poked and prodded this area here with my scope, even my voltmeter would start to, the fault would start to act up. Will start to play up, popping, crackling, and all that sort of thing. So, well, okay, well, it's, of course, you change the valve, and you know, I've changed that, substitute that cap there, change that, change that resist, yeah, because to change that resistor as well. Checked all the components around there, everything was okay. So it kind of, so well, there has to be that cap. We changed it, and basically, yeah, it sorted that problem out. So that was not a bit of a head scratcher, but the fact that I was sort of poking around, here, and it was sort of had a bit of a flow-on effect, as you know, with RF and capacitance and all that sort of thing. It's sometimes when you disturb one area, it can actually be in somewhere else. So that was a good little fault to find. But yeah, that's yeah. So all right, I will attempt to. What I'll do, I'll just put the camera down. I'll turn the chassis over to show underneath. And here's a look underneath it. Very, very Phillips in every way possible, as you can see. That's my substitution for the filter cap there. It's not the prettiest, but it's functional and it's mine, and it's safe enough. So yeah, I changed this a whole lot of 8 microelectrolytics in the output stage, of coupling caps and everything, anode to cathode coupling caps. I changed all these. I've had this thing probably close to 30 years, so 25, 30 years. So I basically renewed all those caps at the time, and they're still all right. It used to get a fair bit of use until it went into storage about 15 years ago. But then, like I said, it's basically sat idle for that time. There was a 27k HT resistor to the I think the anode to the ECH81. One of those, I actually gave it a poke, and it was actually one end kind of broke off one of these ones here, so it kind of fell away. So I changed it as well. And just I think this was me just sort of ironing out that problem that I had. But of course, it ended up being over here. But that's cool. I mean, some of those crappy old carbon resistors that were sort of these sort of ones here, which can go a bit noisy, so I changed those. But generally, it actually uses all the good quality Phillips stuff. Phillips resistors in there. These filter caps, I measured them and chucked them on the bridge. They are still absolutely perfect. There's no high ESR. They still read. I think they're all 47 at 350. I think 47 mic. All the multi-section ones, caps still read perfectly fine. So I'm just going to leave them in. There's no reason to change them. I will probably end up fitting a HT fuse coming off the B plus main B plus rail, just in case, just for my own peace of mind. But this thing will probably get a bit of use in the house, but it won't get a lot of use. It will get used. It will definitely get used. So, but yeah, really nice to work on. Everything's easily accessed. Even down in here, it's all pretty good. So yeah. I think I got this in an auction place. I think I paid about $50 for it at the time, or $60, something like that. But the cabinet's really nice, and that'll be the second part of the video, which won't be today because I kind of want to get this finished off, and I've got to clean the cabinet up, and then the second part of the video will be all this back together. But I will demonstrate this going in a sec. But yeah, as I said, this is probably copied off a European or a British clone, a version, I'm guessing. But I'm trying to think, anything else to mention on this at all? Not really. No, I think we've pretty much covered it, to be honest. Yeah, it's all pretty much. It is what it is. On the, just see if I can get around here. this is the switch that you flick, magnetic dynamic pickable crystal pickup. So that's basically the switch that you select, which obviously engages the F8Z96 for a bit of gain. And on the back, you've got your speaker sockets, and one at the end that's for the turntable at the end. And oh, this was a something I added in, some basically an RCA line in, which is just tacked on the back of where the cartridge was, some turntable go. Basically, I had a period reel I used to run through it. So yeah, yeah, I might just leave it, because you never know, I might decide to hook something else up to it, some sort of like an old CD player or something. So, but yeah, what I'll do is I'll flip it back over on its top, and we'll hear it going. Right, let's turn it on. See if it still goes after all that poking around, which I'm guessing it probably will.
Yes, recent price volatility over the last few years in the housing market is seen as reason.
I'll tell you what, the sound out of this thing is just absolutely fantastic. It's back in its cabinet, man. The bass and the treble, just beautiful, beautiful sound.
Is indicating that owning your own home or having property investments is no longer seen as providing the best returns. Instead, KiwiSaver and managed funds have taken over as the preferred instruments. ASB's senior economist Chris Tennant-Brown says the 1987 share market crash was one of the reasons why housing became a favoured investment choice for the past 40 years, but times are changing.
Share market options have got way more diversified.
For our extreme abortion laws to be an election issue this
year. And that, T's and C's apply.
Hey everybody, Paddy Gower here. Now reasonably unanimous that people are happy with this. Is there any...
High oil prices generally drag the grain and oilseed complex higher.
Now that station there is actually a friend of mine's own personal station, 1449 kilohertz in AM. He has now got the station up and running, and it is actually broadcasting in AM stereo. So yeah, he, after 2 years of struggling, he finally managed to obtain a license and a grant to have a small 25 watt AM transmitter, AM transmission running from his premises. So yeah, that's what that station is there. And I don't think his transmitter is very powerful at the moment. I think it might be probably 5 or 6 watts. But actually picking it up, and that's the actual picking up the phone. So I better not hang on too long, because obviously it'll probably reach copyright. But
today, thanks for your time. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Michael. It's 28 away from 1 North the country, brought to you by Farmlands and
you know.
What?
that is my Rinnai in-house gas thing in the wall that's got a display in it. And of course that's basically, that's obviously it's electronics radiating some noise.
Gone 12:30.
But oh God,
it's what's happening in terms of Australian interest.
But yeah, no, the sound of this thing is, I mean, you know, I don't need to go on about how nice these Philips high Z radios go. It's just brilliant, absolutely first class. So yeah, something a little bit different for the channel. But stay tuned, because there's going to be another video or two very shortly with some big changes in regards to my television situation, or the TV situation anyway, with my remaining TV sets. So it's a good thing, not a bad thing. So stay tuned for that. And just see now we've cracked on. That's 20 minutes of my waffling. So this will be part one. Once I get the chassis back in the cabinet and all assembled, I will show you that going. And I wonder if the turntable still works after all this time. Might even get to play a record, maybe. I don't know whether that will actually happen, but we'll see. Okay, guys, I'm going to finish off here, and yeah.
The Chiefs.
Stay tuned for more.
Super Rugby titles in 2012 and 2013, and also coached the Wallabies for 3 years from 2020. Most New Zealanders want very rich people to pay more tax, according to new polling. 68% of respondents in a Talbot Mills poll agreed billionaires should be taxed more to fund the likes of healthcare, housing and climate action. The poll was